morning, everyone. How you doing? Glad you could join us here on the Morning Buzz. My name is George Demgochin, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Leslie Gallagher.
And
Lauren Small.
hi, Lauren. So today is September 25th. Thank you so much for joining us today. Leslie, oh my gosh, we're only 1 week away from College Radio Day. Isn't that right?
1 week. Yes, next Friday, October 2nd. Very important day. It's my cat's birthday, but more importantly, it's College Radio Day. So if you're here now, you'll definitely be excited for next week's Super Buzz.
Totally. What's your cat's name, by the way?
My cat's name is Boots. He has 4 white paws. He's turning 5. But World College Radio Day, it's a 10-year anniversary. So.
10-year anniversary. I like that transition really quick. Yeah. 10 years. It started in 2011 with our good friend Rob Quick. And Facebook. Hi, Facebook. We were just talking about College Radio Day on the Morning Buzz. So yeah, in case you don't know, College Radio Day, it's a 24-hour marathon. And this year it's going to be World College Radio Day when all these stations from 30 countries are going to pitch in and just have lots of fun doing radio stuff. I mean, there's no two ways around it. There's no other way to define it. And I know that you and me are going to do the Super Buzz on Friday morning.
Yeah, we have with Zoom and the pandemic, we've only been doing 1-hour shows every day. But for next Friday, the Morning Buzz will have a 2-hour slot. And not only will it be me and George hosting, we're going to have a lot of other hosts there from throughout the week.
We're going to have all your favorite Morning Buzz hosts. Isn't that right? That's awesome.
Yes, we're having everyone who can make it, basically. Anyone who's willing to wake up at like 6 a.m. to prep. Yeah. Anyone who's willing is going to be there. That includes me and George. So.
And hey, look, on College Radio Day, I never sleep. This is the one day of the year where I just say, okay, I'm going to handle it. I'm not going to sleep this morning. I'm going to go all out, and that's what I'm going to do. So I know our Good Morning Buzz producer, Ryan Trick, will be there. Felipe Costa, Tara Cicchetti, and Sabrina, Kaya, so many other people will join us for that day, and I just can't wait for it.
And new members will be chilling behind the scenes in the back, watching us. That sounds
do our magic.
Watching us do our magic or watching us stutter. So that should be fun too.
Because we're magical. This is the magical sign.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. You see, I see you do that dance before the show sometimes. So
I made it up because there's this one part of like the intro song that sounds like sparkly. It goes like do 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 do. I don't know I can't sing, but I just go like this because that's what it sounds like to me in my head.
Gotcha. So what are we talking about on the Morning Buzz?
So today on the Morning Buzz, we're going to be talking about the overall happiness of New Jersey, why Obama shared his phone number, and a new technology brought by Amazon. But first, before we move on, here's Lauren Small with her newscast, her first ever, I believe. Take it away, Lauren. You're going to do great.
Thank you, Leslie. This is my first newscast. And for your international news today, Israel is facing a hard-hitting second wave of the coronavirus. The country has implemented a second lockdown with only essential businesses being allowed to operate and citizens restricted to 1 kilometer from their residence. In only 48 hours, Israel recorded 14,000 new infections. As of now, Israel has one of the highest daily infection rates in the world per capita. Thankfully, the local news today is quite a lighter story. The local Bloomfield, New Jersey is getting a visit from The Sopranos as the filming for the prequel titled The Many Saints of Newark resumes filming. A few streets in Bloomfield will be shut down during this production. The release date for the film has been delayed to March of 2021 due to the coronavirus. In national news today, NPR reports that California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed an executive order to ban the sale of new gasoline cars by 2035. With the overwhelming reoccurrence of extreme wildfires in California, the governor is very passionate about climate change and what the state can do to make the biggest difference on their impacts on the environment. Despite many critiques on his stance, Governor Newsom continues to push the production of electric cars and hopes to phase out gasoline cars in the near future. And for your weather on this fine morning in Montclair, the high comes up to 80 degrees and the low drops down to 57. With a 10% chance of rain and 90% humidity, the sun will set at 6:47 p.m. With the ending of this news report, I'll bring it back to you, Leslie and George.
Thank you, Lauren. You did awesome. Wow.
Awesome.
Yes. Yes. So,
A great newscaster in the making, totally.
yes,
Thank you.
she's on her way to big things and big dreams.
Maybe she could be the president of the United States. You never know.
Wow, that's shooting far from journalism.
Hey, you never know.
You know,
Anyway, so also for our first story, New Jersey, as we know, is the Garden State. It's a state that we are in, Montclair State University. Leslie, I know you're in Central Jersey. Lauren, what town in Jersey are you from?
I'm from South Jersey, like right outside of Philly.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So
George,
it
you're
is
from South Jersey?
Yeah.
I'm from North Jersey.
where about?
You know Sussex County or one of
Oh,
actually I grew up in Morris County, but now I live in Sussex County. So
gotcha.
that area. Basically I live in the woods. That's what I tell people. Because it's literally just woods around here.
Mm. I know the Sussex area. I've been to a couple Miners games and the Chatterbox Diner and all that stuff. But anyway, so New Jersey is ranked. Get this, among the top 5 happiest states in America.
Number
Here's
4.
why. Yeah, which it's very surprising to me and you because we're usually like, hey, we're walking here. Hey, can I get a cannoli? Well, here's the thing. So a recent report by Wallet Hub ranks New Jersey as Leslie laughs at my terrible New Jersey accent. The 4th happiest state in the U.S., apparently because people here know how to stay positive during the circumstances. We're no Hawaii, which comes in at number 1, but according to Wallet Hub, we're doing pretty good ourselves. The website looked at 32 key metrics, including the depression rates, positive COVID tests, and unemployment rates. Each was graded on a 100-point scale, with a score of 100 being maximum happiness. New Jersey, which received a total of 64.10 points, has the lowest share of adult depression compared to West Virginia, which is the highest, the study says. New Jersey, tied with New York, also reportedly has the lowest suicide rate and the 3rd lowest divorce rate. So as you can see the screen right there, New Jersey is 4th.
Yeah, New Jersey's number 4. We come in very low for emotional and physical well-being, which is good. The lower the number, the better. So we came with a number 1 ranking, which means we're the happiest. We got a 30 for work environment and a 22 for community and environment rank.
Mm-hmm.
And Hawaii is beating us by 5 points.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with Hawaii because if you're in Hawaii, it's hard to feel not happy.
The only thing I'm happy about is probably like all the bugs I've heard in Hawaii, and that's pretty much it. Because I've heard there's a lot of bugs.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, hula dancing and you could spend time by the beach and all that great stuff. But as we go down the list, we could see it as Oklahoma, Arkansas, West Virginia. They're at the bottom of the list, but knowing that, hey, we're given these circumstances, we're going to try to make the best out of them. So, totally.
Yeah. I find it interesting that New Jersey's, I mean, no offense to New Jersey, but we are so high for emotional well-being. Mm-hmm. And it's not like I want to say like everyone I know is like sad and miserable, but I like when you think of like a number 1 ranking for happiness, like in my mind I would picture like everyone like walking around smiling, and that's just not New Jersey like at all. Like I don't know. And like you said, like people view us as like kind of like cranky, a little grumpy, especially with that road rage that we've got going on. So,
well, I mean, look, if somebody hogs at the left lane in New Jersey on the turnpike, then you can understand why there's road rage.
Yeah, if you're going the speed limit in the left lane, then that's understandable. It's why someone's mad at you. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of us get upset over like very small things. Mm-hmm. It's just the people I know. But
yeah, Ryan Trick, our producer, says, I feel like New Jersey is known for its bad traffic, high blood pressure, and Italians. And yeah, high blood pressure, I mean, yes, I could see, I mean, with all the cannolis shops and, all the bakeries and all that stuff. Well, you know what? I like my cannolis. I love cannolis. They're a great dessert.
I love Zeppelis, too.
Zeppelis, they're very good. Especially the ones that you get down the shore, right? Those are really good, too.
I mean, not to shout out my mom all the time, but like my mom makes really good Zeppelis.
Very good. You know what? If we ever have a morning buzz live from somewhere, can your mom make us some desserts?
I'm sure
we
she's
could
happy to.
awesome.
I think that might be like the only dessert that she like actually makes like homemade though. Everything
Interesting.
else is from a box.
From a box, yeah. So,
We can't make cake for real.
well, I mean, what about tiramisu? That's a really good dessert, right?
Oh, tiramisu. I love tiramisu. I've
Hmm.
never had homemade tiramisu. My mom is not the hugest fan of tiramisu, so
Really
we've never tried
interesting.
making it. Yeah, like it's kind of like a weird texture, so I don't think everyone's a fan of tiramisu.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know. Personally, for me, it's just I love how it's like a mix of ice cream and cinnamon, and it's like I don't know. It's a great mixture. It's like devil's food cake, but something else. Tiramisu is an S tier dessert, which, in
Is
reference to like the ranking system for lists, you know what I mean?
so that's bad, right?
No, that's best. That's the best. S A B, and then it goes down.
Is tiramisu the one with coffee in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I take Italian, and tiramisu actually translates to pick me up. Fun fact.
Aw. Tiramisu is it's so yummy.
Oh.
You know who makes a good tiramisu is I think Macaroni Grill.
Mm.
It's so tasty. Like they give you like you go order tiramisu and you're thinking you're getting like this like little thing. They give you like a giant thing of tiramisu.
Nice.
What was really sad is the one in our town like totally closed down. So I never got tiramisu from there again. Giant tiramisu. It was great.
You
Yeah.
know what? I think we, if we ever have the farewell party at the radio station in the summer, we should get a big, a, like a ginormous plate of tiramisu. Like it should be the size of the studio. That's how much I want tiramisu.
You ever see those like those videos online of people making like giant versions of desserts or like
Hmm.
pizza? Like, is that's your vision, George?
That's my vision of a giant plate of tiramisu,
That's
and that will be the most beautiful thing in the world.
and the best
So
part, you would probably have leftovers and you would eat tiramisu for the entire next week. And
yeah.
that's perfectly fine with me.
Hmm. You can have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Actually, don't do that because you'll fall asleep in the morning, but that's beside the point. Anyway, let's move on to our 44th president of the United States, who came after Bush and before Trump, Barack Obama.
Barack
And
Obama. Yeah,
yeah.
he shared a phone number. What's up with that? Let's find out what happened. So, this past week, former President Barack Obama shared something quite personal with millions of his social media followers. It was a phone number with a simple message: text me. This is already interesting. But why would the former president offer up his phone number? Let's find out why. With election day creeping up, early voting is already underway in various states across the nation. With a record number of voters expected to vote by mail due to the coronavirus pandemic, Obama wants to know how you are doing and how you plan to vote this year. He wanted to try something new. On his social media platforms, he said, quote, "If you're in the United States, send me a text at this number. I want to hear how you're doing, what's on your mind, and how you're planning on voting this year," unquote.
However, the former president is not the only one in the Obama household trying to get in touch with voters. Michelle Obama is also making the push to register more voters before Election Day through When We All Vote, a nonpartisan voter engagement organization that she co-chairs. So, what happens when you call? Obama may have shared a number, but it's not actually his personal phone number. After 3 rings, and you will hear an all too familiar voice of the former president asking him to send you a text message. Once you do send a text message, you will receive an automatic and immediate response when Obama says, quote, "Hey, it's Barack. Click the link to sign up so I could respond directly to you." That's not a good impression, but hey,
Oh, that's really bad.
we'll get Nate Williams, our engineer and director, to come in and do it because he does a really good impression. Anyway, and he says, "I won't be able to get to everything, but I'll be in touch to share what's on my mind, and I want to hear from you too. Let's do this." Unquote.
Wow. See, I feel like the big thing this year is like everyone just wants everyone to vote. Like it's not even like who you're voting for. It's like just get out there and vote. Like I feel like that's what I'm hearing a lot.
Yeah.
I like how supportive he's being though. He's I think it's important to encourage young people to vote.
because every vote matters, which is very important.
Yeah, and I don't know. I find this very interesting. I mean, have we ever seen any like former president do something like this before?
I don't know. I feel like we might have with I don't know, with Bush, Clinton, and Carter, because I mean, since they're the former presidents, I feel like they might have said, "Hey, go out and vote. You know, you'll make an impact on the country." And I think if you're someone that wants to recruit young voters, then I think the best way to do it is with former heads of state. So
Hmm.
because they've been there, they've done that, and they know what it's like to win an election. So
But this feels very interesting. Like he's using the power of social media and text messaging. Like those are things that are very like of course like there's so many people who use social media, but the people who are really like always on their phones and always on social media is like our age group. So it seems like, he's trying to, appeal to them, which is is good. I think, young people should vote. So I just feel like this is very interesting. Like I haven't seen something quite like this before from a president, if that makes sense.
yeah, and also Obama is notably memeable on the internet and good with social media, which is a way that you can recruit younger voters. And how can they connect with this concept better? And especially what we see with, the younger millennial politicians in Washington, whether it's Dan Crenshaw or AOC, is that they use social media to their advantage, and they use memes. And if you want to reach out to those kiddos, then memes, it's where it's at.
You want to hear something interesting is in one of my PR classes we actually discussed how like, companies are always trying to like appeal to like young people, and like they would sometimes like actually use memes to try and like sell their campaign
Hmm.
because they were trying to appeal to a young audience and they didn't know how. So some of them have tried to like memes.
Interesting.
I think it's always a little bit obvious when they're trying to appeal to the younger crowd. Like I think it's a little cheesy, but if it gets the job done,
If it works, it works though,
yeah, if it gets you another vote, then
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that meme of Steve Buscemi with the skateboard saying, "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Yeah, wait. Okay, so something recent that happened. Did you guys see that ad with Paul Rudd?
Oh yeah.
Like dressed like, "Hi, I'm a fellow young person and I'm telling you," I think it was about voting, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, it was about voting. That was so funny because I think they were trying to make fun of people who try to use memes and appeal to young people, but they were doing it through Paul Rudd, so it just made it 100 times better.
Yeah, which is great because Paul Rudd is like he's 50, but he doesn't age. Like he
That's
looks.
huge. You watch him in like I think he was in Clueless or like Perks of Being a Wallflower or any of those shows you might have watched when you're younger, and then you look at him now, he looks the exact same.
He voiced the weatherman in Monsters vs. Aliens. Never
Did
forget that movie with Reese Witherspoon and Seth Rogen. Great animated movie. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's great that if you're able to recruit young voters, and you got to do it in a way that you can connect with them. And Obama, I mean, admittedly, is one of the most popular presidents we've had in the time being. So I think him reaching out to voters, I think it definitely is going to help out some young voters, whether they vote Democrat or Republican, to go out to the polls or fill out their absentee ballots and vote.
mm-hmm. It's just a very interesting tactic. It's pretty creative. I don't know, to send out a phone number with like updates and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not like that's never been done before, but I don't think a president has done that. So it's very interesting.
Very interesting. Totally.
Speaking of creative things, maybe that wasn't the best segue. Speaking of new ideas,
That's better.
there we go. New Jersey is on its way to being a little more eco-friendly and trying to ban plastic and paper bags. So let's talk about that. Apparently, the days appear to be numbered for plastic bags in the Garden State. State lawmakers on Thursday passed a bill that would limit the use of single-use plastic bags, paper bags, plastic straws, and polystyrene food containers in New Jersey. Not sure if I said that word right. But anyways, the measure is an attempt to reduce the amount of waste generated in the state. The Democratic-sponsored bill prohibits food service business from giving customers single-use plastic bags and food containers. The bans apply to a variety of businesses, including restaurants, convenience stores, food trucks, movie theaters, and grocery stores that are 2,500 square feet or larger. Grocery stores specifically would be prohibited from giving paper bags to customers. And before you continue, George, fun fact, I'm a cashier at a grocery store, and I pretty much see how much plastic we use every day. And realistically, I feel like it's going to be a hard transition for most customers. I don't think they're happy about it. This seems like a wild idea. But anyway, George, continue. What are some rules?
Well, here's some of the rules. Bags wrapping raw meat. Well, okay, so the rules give exemptions for some disposable items, including bags that wrap raw meat, polystyrene butcher trays, bags used for loose items like produce, bags that hold fish and insects from pet stores, dry cleaning bags, newspaper bags, and bags carrying prescription drugs. So food service businesses under the bill would only be allowed to hand out plastic straws upon a customer's request. If a business were to break these rules, the bill allows for a warning for the first violation, a $1,000 fine for the second, and $5,000 fines for the third violation, and every violation after that. All fines collected would go to Clean Communities Program Fund, which pays for litter cleanup grants across New Jersey.
That's a lot of money. I mean, at least you'd be going to Clean Communities Program Fund. Like, that's a pretty smart place for a fine to go to, but like, wow. This feels very serious. Apparently, the restrictions will become effective after an 18-month grace period, except for the straw ban, which has a year-long grace period. So, and this in from Ryan Trick, our producer who used to live in Maryland, I believe. He lived in a lot of places, but I think he lived in Maryland. And he said that the way they would deal with the plastic and paper bag issue was there would actually be a bag tax charging 5 cents per bag whenever you would, buy stuff in like a grocery store. And that, that adds up over time. So I think a lot of people will naturally adapt it to using reusable bags or small backpacks. And he actually noticed a lot more people doing that in, his daily life. But I see that's a pretty good idea. But, New Jersey is straight up going for the ban,
Yeah.
I don't know how well that will work.
I don't know.
Because even when I brought the story up to you guys, you were like, wait, what? I think I briefly heard about something like this, but I don't really think the word's getting out. So, like, are they going to give people a warning or something? Because, like, so many people, like, run into the grocery store unprepared. Like, I see it, like, all the time. They run in for, like, 5 things and they come out with, like, an entire cart full. Like, what if they brought one bag reusable and then they end up getting a lot of stuff? I don't really know how this is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, it's interesting because I know we've talked. I mean, there has been speculation in the past regarding, using paper bags instead of plastic or using reusable bags, and I know that plastic bags have been a huge issue with global warming and climate change, and it might be a little unpopular for some customers in the beginning, but I feel like it might be as a New Jerseyan, I might be able to get used to it. It's just a little change. I don't think it's going to be really that huge. So
yeah, the rule right now, at least in our supermarket, is that if you bring your own reusable bags, you have to bag them as well. And I can see already, like, in my mind, so many issues with that. Like, shoppers who are in wheelchairs, that's obviously going to be more difficult for them to, like, like reach over and like pack their own bags. Like, I'm sure they can make it work, but it just makes it especially difficult for them, and like, there's people who just straight up don't like doing it, and they would have to, probably just get over it for this if they don't want to be fined. But I don't know, just I don't think it's super realistic. And I think, probably like a tax, like what they do in Maryland kind of actually makes more sense because people can kind of like gradually adjust. They make their own decision. I don't know. What do you think, Lauren?
I mean, have you guys ever been to Aldi, the grocery store?
I've heard of it, but no, I've never been there.
They actually don't use any plastic bags. They only offer paper, but what they do to combat that is like the big cardboard boxes that they like get their stuff shipped in, you can use that to like put a lot of items into your cart. And I don't know, I think it's pretty easy system. I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like pretty effective. I mean, I use my own bags when I shop. It's just I think a lot of people would hate it. I mean, like, yeah, they would. I mean, it's if it's a new law, they're gonna just have to adapt or adapt to doing like something like Lauren said, like using some sort of box with a cart. Like that would be really cool if I saw my store doing that. Like that's pretty cool. Probably make my job easier.
Right. Yeah, totally. And I know Costco, they never use bags because of the sheer amount of things people buy each time they go. Like, I mean, I remember when I went to Costco in Florida, before everything, became what it is now. Like, I remember seeing, carts and carts and carts full of stuff, but no bags. So,
Wow.
Yeah, because they come in like such huge boxes. There's like no need for a bag.
right.
And it is smart too because we really don't need to be using more plastic. Like it's just this is interesting. I mean, I'm glad New Jersey's trying to be a little more eco-friendly. That's pretty awesome.
hmm And I don't know, what are some other ways that, I mean, people can remain eco-friendly, just so we're able to.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. The first thing that comes to my brain is reusable water bottles instead of, buying like plastic water bottles from the supermarket. Like you can buy like 25 at a time. But instead of that, you could just buy like your own reusable one that can keep your water cold for a long period of time. Invest in that instead of using a bunch of plastic bottles.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
That's the first.
Lauren, what do you think would be a good way?
I think if more fast food restaurants like adapted their plastic to more economic friendly things. Like I used to work at Dunkin' Donuts, and for the longest time, the hot coffee would be in a styrofoam cup, and styrofoam like does not dissolve. Like it's very bad for the environment. And they recently made the switch to paper cups, which I was really happy about.
Yeah. And here's the thing is like, even if I feel like places are going to try and be eco-friendly, like right now with like plastic forks, like obviously that's bad for the environment, more plastic. But at the same time, while we're in the pandemic, I've noticed restaurants using plastic more because, they want someone to use it and then they want to be able to throw it away to slow the spread of the virus. I mean, so we're kind of like, it's like a pick your poison type of thing, like, save the environment or, stop spreading the virus. I don't know, because like you guys have noticed that too, right? Like
Right.
now, like they're using plastic more.
hmm
Like a lot of places are giving out like those like little plastic wrapped things where they have like a little napkin and a fork and a knife inside.
Which it's convenient. It's a lot more convenient than we're usually used to. But yeah. So with that being said, you are listening to the Morning Buzz here on WMSC. I'm George M. Gochin at the beautiful School of Communication and Media at Montclair State University, joined with
Liza Gallagher
and
Lauren Small.
we're going to take a short break here on the Morning Buzz. Please don't go away because we love having you.
More than 5 million Americans live with Alzheimer's, but less than half are ever diagnosed. Close family members who know their loved ones best are typically the first to notice memory issues or cognitive problems, but they are often hesitant to say something, even when they know something is wrong. While acknowledging why your loved one may be acting differently is hard, it can be critical, as early detection of Alzheimer's can make a difference in managing the disease. Most people are unaware of the substantial benefits of early diagnosis and avoid taking the first step to getting help, having the tough conversation with their loved one when they notice changes in their attitude or behavior. To learn more, visit alz.org/ourstories. This ad is brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association, the Ad Council, and this station.
You want to get involved? You like being part of a team? Well, WMSC wants you! Hello! Whether you enjoy music, editing, sports, or news, WMSC Radio has much to offer.
Production, engineering, music, and more. Being a part of the teams, you can.
Meet new people, make new friends. Oh, yeah.
Express your creativity. Become an apprentice DJ, and in the future, host your very own radio show.
Meetings are held in the School of Communications and Media, room 1011, Wednesdays at 3:30 p.m.
Sign up today and be a part of the experience. WMSC wants you.
And we're back here on the Morning Buzz. Thank you for joining us here once again. If you haven't already joined us, or if you just weren't paying attention, I know Ryan says something similar, but I'm going to get it right next time. I am your host, George Demgochian.
Hi, and I'm Leslie Gallagher. And we've got
Lauren Small.
There she is. Yeah, every single time you try and say Ryan's line,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work. And then every time you get my hopes up and you say I'm gonna get it right next time, George, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little hurt. I don't even know what the line is, honestly.
In case you just woke up or just tuned in, you're listening to the Morning Buzz here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair.
If you just woke up, if you just tuned in, or if you just weren't paying attention. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Ryan. Also, and thank you for saying the top of the hour at 8:30, but that's okay. Anyway,
He says it so smoothly.
yeah, he has such a leathery voice. He has such like a rich, resonant, classic radio voice, which is beautiful.
I have a few classes with Ryan this semester, and every time he goes to say something, because we have like journalism radio classes, he'll go and say like what he wrote down for his in-class assignment, and everyone will go like, "Oh my God, Ryan, he's such a good radio voice," and he does, because y'all just heard it.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
And you can also hear Ryan on the Monday Morning Buzzes. So, yeah. Anyway.
You want to hear him for more than 1 second. He's got a whole show.
Mm-hmm.
And you better watch it, or listen to it while you can, because he's graduating this semester.
Right.
For you, Ryan.
Well, also, I'm graduating too, so you shouldn't forget about me either.
I honestly, I thought you had a whole year left, and I keep forgetting that this is your last semester.
Actually, well, this isn't my last semester. This is actually, I'm graduating in the spring. So.
Okay, so you do have a whole year. Okay, cool. Whew.
Ryan, I understand. I don't want to be an adult either. Personally, for me, I want to stay a kid. I want to go to Dave & Buster's, play some hoops, win some prizes. I want to be a kid again, But yeah, you know what? It's gonna, I think we're all kids at heart. That's the most important thing. If you have a backpack and if you go to classes, you're still a kid in my mind. And therefore, we all have backpacks. We all go to classes. Therefore, we are all still kids.
No, because of the pandemic, I haven't used my backpack since March. It just sits in my room and it's empty.
Do you go to classes?
I hop on Zoom multiple times per day.
Then you're still a kid. So.
Child.
Yeah, but you know what isn't related to being a kid? Amazon. I don't know. I was trying to go for a transaction there, or whatever you call it, a transition.
Oh my God. Yeah, here's something that children can't afford. Amazon's Ring will sell for $250. It's a security drone that flies around your house. So the Ring, it's not called the Ring, it's just Ring. Ring, the Amazon-owned home security business, introduced flying camera on Thursday that might excite home surveillance fans, but it's almost certain to frustrate privacy advocates. The $250 drone, called Ring Always Home Cam, is among a slew of products unveiled during Amazon's invitation-only online hardware event. The drone is small and light with a high-definition camera, and it can automatically fly on the preset paths to specific spots in your home. It can stream video to your smartphone of what it sees along the way. Users can set up paths for the drone via smartphone app, but the drone can also detect motion and fly on its own.
Set for release next year, the drone is meant for indoor use only, and it can be set to work with the Ring alarm system so that it will fly a preset route if the alarm is triggered. The device's ability to navigate your home is sure to concern privacy experts who have already blasted Amazon for Ring's partnerships with hundreds of police departments around the U.S. Though these deals are meant to make it easier for local law enforcement to access videos taken by users, privacy advocates see it as a way to build a widespread surveillance network. In an effort to assuage some privacy fears in advance, Ring said the drone is meant to be noisy while in flight, making it obvious when it's in use, and that it can't be manually controlled.
Noisy, not nosy. But some people think it's kind of nosy. I mean, it is a flying drone inside your house. Yeah, and this just in, Ryan Trick thinks it's creepy. I'm gonna have to agree with you. What do you think, George and Lauren?
Agree.
Yeah. Do you guys have a Ring at your house or no? We have one in our house, and it's like really testy. Like it sets off on like every motion. Like a car drives by, it alerts you. Like I can't imagine this flying Ring security. Like I don't understand how it would work. I don't understand what would set it off. I
guess
feel like it would be really buggy.
Like someone breaking into your house, and it like detects the motion, and then you can see. I don't really know. It's George. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm in for a long night. I don't know. Like this is really something that is just creepy. Like I don't like. I mean, okay. So the thing is, the manufacturer promises won't crash into a ceiling fan or flower pot because it has obstacle avoidance technology, which is cool. You know, I mean it's very robotic. You know, very technologic, but it's cool. And it flies back into its cradle when the flight is complete. The thing is also it won't work outside or fly from the first floor of home to upstairs. It's one floor at a time. The idea was to go beyond a static security camera and take people remotely on a tour of the home for monitoring without having to plug in multiple cameras. And the camera only turns on while in flight. So I am very concerned about this kind of stuff. And also bumping into it. Like, I mean, you know, I would expect like the Ring to kind of be like your own personal butler. You know, if you can get me like a latte or something, and like you'll bump in and say, "Hey, you know, watch where you're going, scram, drone." You know.
Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to avoid things. Like it has that technology, but you know, technology isn't like perfect.
No.
As we've seen through the pandemic, all of us trying to use Zoom, we are very familiar with technology not being perfect. So yeah, I mean, imagine if you you know, had like a little child in your house and you had this, and what I don't know, like, and technology does fail, and if it does, I don't know, crash into them or something like wild like that could happen.
And
also I feel like I'm struggling to understand the purpose. So, you know, it's supposed to be meant easier for people if they wanted to have multiple cameras in their house to, I don't know, catch like a burglary, I guess. But instead it's just one drone that flies around and senses motion. But what if it misses the thing it was meant to catch because it's still flying over there?
Right.
You know, I don't know, like I'm kind of not seeing the point. Anyone else missing it? I don't know.
Well, okay, so here's the point, and I'm missing it. I can't seem to grasp onto the point. So, you know.
Yeah, the point's all the way over here, and I'm just over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's going over my head because I don't know. It's just like in theory, when I first read about this, sounded like, oh, it's kind of cool. But then you kind of start to think about it, and you're like, I don't know why I would spend over $200 on this. No offense, Amazon. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and also minus the fact that Jeff Bezos looks like a villainous millionaire from James Bond or something. You know, like the whole thing about like Amazon and drones is that like robots are getting, well, I mean, they're getting smarter every day. So
they are. They're slowly taking over the planet. And you know, it's the one thing about it too is that it's meant to be loud, like they make it purposefully noisy so that when you're just chilling in your house, when your little drone is buzzing around and you're not caught off guard with being on camera. But that's also there's so many weird elements to this, because one, I don't think I'd want a drone flying around my house to randomly catch me at a bad moment.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's like used for like police footage later, like I don't know, that constant like kind of anxiety of like just like being watched at any moment by my own drone.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would like that. And then second, it's made to be noisy, which would, imagine you're on a Zoom meeting and all of a sudden you just hear like a vacuum cleaning sound and like it's just your drone, but like there's nothing you can do to turn it off until it completes its little circle.
Right, and especially at times where you just want to be left alone. Like if you're cooking a meal or something, you're making your Western omelet with English muffins, and then the drone creeps in on you, and you're like, "Hey, drone, what are you doing here?" And the drone's like, "Well, I just want to eat right now." And I'm like, "You're a robot, you can't eat. So like, why would you even need a drone for that?" But
yeah, I'm a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want it to catch me at a bad moment when I'm doing something that I wouldn't want to be on camera. Like.
Or else TMZ will come after you.
Yeah, I don't know. Amazon might have missed the mark on this one, but I guess we should move on.
Yes, let's move on. So, Utopia.
Utopia.
Yes.
The show.
Mm-hmm.
That is new. It's about a fictional pandemic in the middle of a real pandemic. I don't know how I feel about that, but let's hear them out. Sorry, I got a tickle in my throat. That was probably not great radio. Anyways, the timing for Utopia is either incredibly good or atrociously bad, depending on one's tolerance for fiction that parallels current events. In this case, it's a pandemic tied into conspiracy theories advanced via a comic book, with the unsettling twist that the world imperiling threat is real. For the most part, this Amazon series, yes, Amazon, we're still talking about Amazon, adapted by Gone Girl's Gillian Flynn from a 2013 British show created by Dennis Kelly, works by quickly establishing a distinct, dramatic life, offering a bleak prism into an alternate reality. That said, a disclaimer, although the producers have said the violence is toned down from the original, the amount of gruesome activity isn't suitable for everyone, and the even remotely squeamish should be forewarned.
Utopia starts with a young couple discovering the comic book left in their new house, as collectibles sometimes are, yielding a feeding frenzy to buy it. Yet, when they go to a convention known as FringeCon to negotiate a sale, that attracts not only the extended online group, but shadowy forces seemingly determined to erase any knowledge of its existence. Much mayhem follows, constructed in a way that allows the characters and their relationships to steadily grow, including a sweet, awkward romance, while delivering regular surprises and building suspense. That's not, I don't know. I figured since we're on Zoom, I might as well just, add some.
A bunch of hand motions that some people can't see.
Yeah. Anyway, the mystery of Utopia hinges on the fact that the original comic Dystopia somehow predicted the threats to come, including outbreaks of deadly diseases. The action unfolds as a new pandemic arises with the unsavory wrinkle that someone seems to be using the virus for an experiment. Dun, dun, dun.
See, this sounds actually really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like I don't fully understand it. Like, this is kind of confusing. I think it's one of those things that you have to watch to really understand, just based on the description of it. But I don't know, it seems kind of interesting, like using the virus for an experiment for something. But I don't know, how would you guys feel about watching something about a pandemic while we are literally in a pandemic? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think one pandemic, like you're already dealing with one right now, and I don't want to deal with another. So.
One pandemic at a time, please. Lauren, how do you feel?
I'm not too bothered by it. Like, if it's entertaining, then it's entertaining.
Yeah. I don't know, the timing of it's a little odd. I mean, no one plans on having a worldwide pandemic, so they had probably filmed all or most of it by the time the virus really sunk in and lockdown really sunk in. So they were probably in the editing stages and they're like, well, we have the show, we can't not release it after, we've just, hired people. Now we have to figure everything out. But, we might be able to relate to it in a strange way. I don't know if I'd want to watch something about a pandemic right now because we're already living in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I'd want to be reminded of that. TV and movies can be kind of an escape from reality to sort of like enter a world that's kind of different to entertain you or inform you if you're watching like a documentary or something. And this seems kind of like the opposite, like a constant reminder. So although it sounds very interesting, I might give it a try, but I don't know if I'm going to really vibe with it because it's just it's so real to us right now.
Yeah. And another pandemic-related show in a very different vein that was just released is Love in the Time of Quarantine. And I'm like,
On Hulu.
can we not deal with these right now? Like, we're kind of worrying about ourselves and stuff. Like, I don't want any of this anymore. I don't want any of this anymore.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's called Love in the Time of Corona, or maybe it's Love in the Time of Quarantine. It's one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen the ad for it so many times, and it's about like finding like love during this pandemic, and it's like just weird. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It gave me a weird vibe. I thought about watching it just to see like, oh, is this actually good? I never got around to it though, because I was like, I don't really want to watch something about a pandemic. Finding love, I mean, like, I don't know if that's anyone's like priority right now, if they are in a relationship already. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe distraction for some people. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you want to move on. I feel like this is just too much pandemic talk for one show.
Yeah.
So
We have more fun things to talk about, like candy.
yes.
If you're worried about trick-or-treating or socially distancing, maybe you've got some kids at home and they're really looking forward to Halloween and you're not really sure how to go about that, you can build a candy chute like this one family in Ohio. Halloween is a holiday many relish with fever. The homes and yards decked out with ghosts and jack-lanterns, and families decked out in costumes, taking the streets for some trick-or-treating. This year with COVID-19, the pandemic is putting a damper on many annual customs. It looks like the celebrations as usual might be out of question. But one diehard Ohio Halloween fan came up with the perfect way to make socially distanced Halloween work to ensure his kids can enjoy the holiday safely. He made a brilliant, contact-free, 6-foot-long candy chute.
Even prior to the pandemic, Andrew Beatty had been toying with the idea for a candy chute prototype to make participating in the holiday easier for neighbors with mobility issues. Having an immune deficiency himself, Beatty thought the buffer of a little extra distancing was just common sense, since people tend to have colds this time of year regardless of the pandemic. Beatty, along with his 6-year-old daughter, constructed the chute using a 6-foot by 4-inch shipping tube. After spray painting their creation orange and finishing up with the spiral of black duct tape, they were ready to attach it to the railing that runs from the family's porch down to the street. Decorative strings of green and purple lights completed the ghoulish theme. So as you see right there, that is a nifty candy chute. I never thought we'd ever see those, but that's very clever.
Yeah, so yeah, he has this orange tube. It's I don't think in this photo it's like fully attached. He seems to be holding it on his like railing. But they anticipated to, make it longer and, make it so that when people approach it, they, have like this chute that they can put the candy through, which is a pretty nifty idea.
Right. And you know what? I mean, as someone who, I haven't been trick-or-treating since freshman year of high school, since like 7 years ago. So
Same here. Yeah, I haven't been in a while.
I don't know. I feel like, for kids, younger, like this is the perfect idea for of course social distancing, and also like it just seems really cool. I mean, you get to slide some candy down, and as someone that was a huge Halloween fanatic, I am excited for spooky season. And
Me too.
I mean, like, as long as you give out those king-size candy bars, then you're good to go.
Yeah, I'm always excited for Halloween, pandemic or not. I usually, like, even like when as a kid when I would trick or treat, but like more lately I've been, just, spending time with like friends on Halloween, like maybe like getting together and watching a movie, or like last year I like we just wore like comfy onesies. That's what I did, and handed out candy, and that's pretty much what my whole night was. I also watched Halloween Town. I'm into like those low-key Halloweens, so honestly this year for me it's not going to be that much different.
Right.
Though it might be different, but anyways.
Yeah, I mean, well, hold on. Before we move on, I wanted to get Thomas Neer's opinion on this. Thomas, so I mean, are you a fan of spooky season at all? What do you think about all this candy talk? I mean, this is really something.
I was never really a fan of Halloween.
How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But for personal reasons, because growing up, my costumes have always been bad. They've always sucked. And
mine too.
Okay, thank God. And I've always felt self-conscious.
I didn't want to spend money, and I wasn't crafty enough to make any, so I'd always have really bad costumes. Not like that, not cool.
Obviously, I enjoy candy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who doesn't? But I don't know how safe I'd still feel. Even the idea of a candy shoot is a step in the right direction, but I don't know how safe I'd still feel.
Yeah.
I'll probably not even answer my door this Halloween if anyone comes ringing my doorbell. I'm sorry.
I mean, would you put out like a bowl of candy? I know some people do that.
Yeah, I probably would, but I think at least one kid will probably just take the whole bowl at some point.
They tend to do that.
Yeah, we all know that one kid.
Oh yeah, I'll probably put out a bowl anyway, Joe. Anyway, though, just to be safe, just for hope for humanity.
Yeah, spooky. Ooh, okay, never mind. I'm like the least spooky person, alive, but that's beside the point. Yeah, so Thomas, I mean, you are our entertainment contributor. You also were an entertainment writer for the Montclarian. We're so glad to have you here on the show. And we also, if in case you remember, we were in New Student Seminar together, and we had a lot of great memories there. So we have some history. And I mean, what's going on in the entertainment buzz right now? I mean, talk about it. I want to hear from this.
I'm so glad you asked, George. Thank you. Well, in movie release news, the highly anticipated horror film Antebellum was released this past Friday, September 18th, in select theaters and on video on demand. The film was written and directed by Gerard Bush and Christopher Renz in their feature directorial debuts, and tells the story of a sociologist/author living in modern-day America who finds herself on a southern slave plantation in the 19th century and must escape. The film stars the multi-talented musician and actress Janelle Monáe in the leading role, best known for being one of the leads in the film Hidden Figures, and for his supporting role in the Academy Award-winning film Moonlight. The supporting cast also includes Gabourey Sidibe, best known as the lead in the film Precious, and someone we may know, Eric Lang, known for his role as Psychowitz on the show Victorious. In television, the critically acclaimed series Fargo returns to FX for its 4th season, with the first episode to premiere this Sunday, September 27th. The series is an anthology series, meaning that each season features a different plot and set of characters, albeit sometimes with very loose connections to each other. This Emmy Award-winning show is inspired by the 1996 Coen Brothers film of the same name, and the season will take place in Kansas City in the year 1950, as the Kansas City Mafia face conflict with a new crime syndicate of Black migrants from the South. The large cast is led by comedian Chris Rock, and also includes the likes of Jason Schwartzman, known for his frequent collaborations with film auteur Wes Anderson, Jesse Buckley, who starred in the recent Netflix original movie I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and Ben Whishaw, known for his role as Q in the James Bond films Skyfall and Spectre. In music, Japanese-Australian singer-songwriter Joji just released his second studio album titled Nectar today, September 25th. Joji first came to fame as the YouTuber and internet personality Filthy Frank, perhaps most well-known for starting the Harlem Shake trend in 2013. He quit YouTube in 2017 to pursue a music career, signing with the record label 88 Rising that same year, and releasing his debut album Ballads 1 the following year to great commercial success, which included his hit single Slow Dancing in the Dark. Joji has been releasing singles throughout the year building up to the album's release, including tracks like Run and Gimme Love, and his music is often categorized as a blend of R&B, trip-hop, and lo-fi. In Montclarian Entertainment this week, we have a review of season 2 of the Netflix series The Umbrella Academy, written by Maddie Belov-Boxer. This show is an adaptation of the graphic novel series written by New Jersey's own Gerard Way, and this season places the characters in different plot points in Dallas, Texas in the early 1960s. According to Belov-Boxer, the new season takes its young hero characters out of the modern world and puts them in a time period where they must face larger issues such as segregation and homophobia. Another review in the Montclarian this week is from Kelvin Jimenez Machaca, who reviewed musician Aluna's debut solo album, Renaissance. Part of the electronic music duo Aluna George, along with producer George Reed, Aluna released her first solo album that Jimenez Machaca states has a variety of tracks that can appeal to all 4 seasons of the year. He also goes on to say that Renaissance overall gives off a feel-good vibe, something we very much need after the turbulent year we've had thus far.
Thank you very much, Thomas. And I did want to talk about Joji really quick because, as someone that watched Filthy Frank in high school and, I'm familiar with the Pink Guy albums and stuff. And, after branching off from YouTube and doing his own thing, like that is something that, to go from that YouTube character to someone that can make, some awesome lo-fi, that's really cool. It's stuff that you can study to, you click on a live stream of his music and all of a sudden you just start tapping away in your homework. So I'm looking forward to this album. I really want to hear it.
Yeah, same. I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet, but I will be this weekend. I've also been a fan of Filthy Frank since I was in high school. Me and my little brother watched him a lot growing up, and to watch him make such a drastic shift in content from the types of videos he produced to the type of music he's making now, it's really interesting. And it's a trend that we see sometimes in people quitting YouTube and going on to have prospective careers in other fields. Like Bo Burnham started his career as a YouTuber early on in maybe like the late 2000s, early 2010s, and is now a very successful screenwriter.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Yeah, I remember Bo Burnham and all those videos, and that was pretty much for me. I don't mean to sound like a cranky old man, but that was the golden age of YouTube. That was before the YouTube partnership and advertisements, like that was when YouTube was at its peak, so that I don't mean to be cranky, but that's just, that was the classiest YouTube in my opinion. So
I agree with you there. I'll also probably sound cranky, but on the YouTube homepage, it's just nowadays it's just a lot of different production companies and studios, like, the latest video from NBC, the latest carpool karaoke, when back then you had someone like Bo Burnham who was just making cheaply made videos and songs in his bedroom, was able to blow up to the and give him the platform that he had. And same with Joji, same with Filthy Frank back in the day.
Yeah, totally. And as we almost are ready to finish our show, I wanted to talk about quick music releases. So what other albums have you seen come out during this pandemic? And are there anything that y'all, Leslie and Lauren included, have been listening to lately?
Folklore. Taylor Swift. Sorry, you said during the pandemic. It came out maybe like 2 months ago. I've been listening to that nonstop. So
cool. Yeah, I can get behind Tay Tay. She's cool. Lauren?
I have yet to listen to that. But the first thing I can think of is probably Tame Impala's new album came out at the beginning. And I was supposed to see them in concert, but the pandemic gets in the way.
Yeah, very interesting. And look, personally for me, it's going to come out in October. But Paul McCartney really said that he's going to release a song with John Lennon, an old John Lennon track on it with Ringo also playing drums on it. So that's, from a Beatles fan's point of view, that's really cool. And I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah. Anything Beatles, I would be looking forward to. Yeah. As long as they release the third song that they were going to release on the anthology Now and Then, I'm looking forward to that. But at least we have the fan edit on YouTube. And I'm just fanboying right now. And I know you guys don't understand, but hey, let me live my life. All right. So with that being said, that has been a production of the Morning Buzz, with thanks to the facilities and colleagues here on the campus of Montclair State University and the School of Communication and Media. Your co-hosts and contributors today were Leslie Gallagher, Lauren Small, and Thomas Nera. Your Morning Buzz producer is Ryan Schrick. Your researcher is Fred Sly, and your host and board op is George Jamgocian. With that being said, I want to say, if the WMC is not on your radio, then your radio really is non. Guys, once again, I'm George Demgochin, joined alongside
Leslie Gallagher.
Lauren Small.
And Thomas Nera.
Thank you for joining us. Please have a good day, stay safe, and eat your vitamins. I don't know. I'm changing up the thing. But yeah, have a good day, everybody.